Yeah, hello, and a very warm welcome to our today's ACS Cars Wow Digital Show, Wow House Show. My name is Björn Schleifer. I'm product trainer of Wow, and I'm very glad to have my colleague Daniel Grünmüller here today. He's an export area manager in our company, and we will do the next 30 minutes together to show you how easy and how to quick it is to do the camera and maybe the radar calibration on this e-Golf that we have here behind us. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning. Thanks for having me with you here today, and welcome everybody on the other side. And thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. So we try, like I said, we try to do the camera calibration and the radar calibration within 15, within 30 minutes, not 50, that's too long. Yeah, at first, we want to talk a little bit about our equipment that we have for this. Daniel, please bring us here the tool, our ACS cars, which means the advanced calibration system for cars. We have here a unique platform to do the calibration for all models that we have in our software for the calibration. That means we have a unique procedure which is listed here on our two-sheeted printout. And yeah, we have different targets for it. We have, yeah, for different manufacturers, for different models, we have different targets. Everything is OE standard. That means we are completely OE confirm with our work here. And Daniel had one of these. It's from Toyota. You can see directly it's a double-sided printed. That means for you, you have to save space and also to save money inside of your workshop, because we have two models or two targets on one sheet. And that's the first big advantage we have with our tool.
Exactly.
All the targets are named. That means we have here on each target the name of the target, beginning with TFC. That means target front camera. In this case, it's 2. It's the side for Mercedes. On the other side, which we have prepared for our show today, it's the Volkswagen Group target. It's named TFC1, so the TFC, the target front camera 1. So more details of the tool. Daniel, what do you have on your side?
So for one, a very important feature is our handling unit with the corresponding lever here, so that we can engage it and disengage it for a function that we will later see. That's very important. Also here, our wheel clamps, which I would like to point out a very important detail. With those clamp bolts, they are turnable, so that you can use them in case you have wheel covers or for normal rims. Also, you see here the 3 positions, which are for the sizes of the corresponding rims, from small cars up to SUV and transporters. Very important as well here. If you have one in this position, all others need to be in the same position.
Yeah, the size that you meant is we can do cars from a size of and rims in size of from 11 inches up to 25 inches, and that's what you meant. We can do very little cars, very small cars, up to transporter class.
Exactly.
Everything with only one tool. Okay. My side,
very important, the scales.
The scales, absolutely. On my side, we have here a double printed scale in the middle of the tool. This is for our two movable parts on the ACS cars. We have here on the lower side the measuring beam with 2 laser units inside and a scale on the other side. We have to bring this to the correct wheel hub of the height of the wheel hub. That the laser can reflect from the rear axle later on. For this, we have here this scale. Second scale is here in front. It's for our target holder. And with this scale, we can bring the target holder and the target to the correct position that is given from our help file inside of the WOW system, of our WOW diagnosis. And
Björn, what can you tell me about that screw down
The
here?
screw, yeah, last but not least, very important point and a huge advantage of our system. We have a so-named fine adjusting screw here, and with this screw we can adjust the tool in a few seconds to the exact parallelity to the geometric axle of the car, to the rear axle, and you will later on see it, how fine, how quick this will work.
Just a little detail there as well. When you done your calibrations and you store it away or prepare for the next calibration, just make sure that you have that in the screw in the middle, because otherwise you might find yourself in a position, if you had it like right to the end on one side, that you have to restart all over.
You can lose time when you forgot to bring it back in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so Daniel, please bring the tool in the near middle of the car, almost in the nearly right position, and we will start in the software, please. First point that we suggest to all our customers outside, the first point should be every time a pre-scan of the program. So please, can we see the software? Thank you. Fine, thank you very much. So the software is seen here. We just did a pre-scan, and we don't talk much more about the scan because we had the last days some sessions about diagnosis. We talked there about scanning the car, about other functionality. So if you're interested in these points, please show these events. We are loaded up them on YouTube, for example, and our homepage. The only thing that we have to do here now is to save the data to the car and to the customer. That's a very important point. So we can see and the customer can directly see everything is fine in the car, everything is green. We have no failures on the camera system, so we can directly start the adjustment and the calibration of the camera. For this, we start our diagnosis inside. We can go directly over the driver assistance system. We can go over the chassis functionality, or the much easiest way in our system, the tool is named ACS. So it's the only way to use the power search and to type in ACS, and you will see directly we came to the calibration of the camera. Go inside. So Daniel, what are the points when we have to calibrate the camera at the car? In your opinion, what is when we have to calibrate the camera on the car? Do you know some points about it?
When you do work on the rear axle, you have to calibrate it. If you change the front screen, your windscreen, basically, it's a must. And also, if you even install the exact same windscreen, the same tone and everything, you will have to do the calibration, because every windscreen, even if it's the same type, will have a different light breaking. So it's a must.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you. So I opened, meanwhile, the help file for our system. We have two help files inside of this one help file. The first one is the preparation list for it. So every step here on this list we have to do for the correct adjustment of the tool, and the steps that we have to do are completely unique for every model, for every manufacturer, where we can do this calibration. So if you know one time this list, these two sheets, you can do the calibration on every car. And the static calibration, not dynamic, the static calibration.
Yes.
We get here all informations in this help file, why we have to do the calibration. We get all informations about the testing conditions inside. For example, we have to prove before we do the adjustment, is the tire pressure correctly? Do we have a leveled Fahrwerk? Sorry.
The chassis.
The chassis, thank you. We have to put in normally a battery charger, an external power supply for the car. In this case here, we don't need an external power supply because we have a high voltage car. It's an e-Golf. So we have a 400 volts internal battery, and this battery supplies our 12-volt system of the car with enough voltage, so we don't have to do here an external power supply.
Very important
Yeah.
is that we have to open the hood because of the security gateway. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do anything on the calibration.
For example, in this case, yeah, absolutely. Yes. So we get this hint inside of the diagnosis when we have to open up the bonnet. Second important point, we don't have to open it completely, because when we open the bonnet completely, the camera can't see our target. So should be self-explaining that we only have to unlock it and bring it to the first position, and then we are in the service mode of the car, in the diagnosis mode, and then we can do the calibration. We have here a list of different models. It's a unique list for all cars out of the Volkswagen group, and now we select out here our car. So we don't have a Caddy, we don't have Crafter, MAN, TGE, or some SUVs. We don't have here all others with our Golf, and for this we need, and you can see it here in the list, the calibration board TFC1. We have it already installed. We have the calibration board height with 1090 millimeters. We do it in a few seconds, and we have the distance from the center of the front to axle calibration board with 1500 millimeters and a tolerance of
2.5 centimeters.
2.5 centimeters. Thank you. Okay.
25 millimeters.
And I would say we start the adjustment.
Yes.
And for the first point, we need from our equipment case that we have here, our measuring tape. We go on every tool that we have inside.
Thank you.
While we are adjusting the tool here, that means we have two measuring tapes inside. We have some screws inside. For what the screws, we have now installed black screws on the target holder, because we have a black target. When we have to use a white target, like on the back side, the Mercedes target, we have to use white screws. It's for the contrast of the target, so the camera can't get
confused.
Confused, absolutely. So first point, we have to bring the measuring beam in the correct height, and for this, Daniel measures us the height of the wheel hub, and hopefully
from the
he
floor,
measures correctly,
which is exactly by 30 centimeters.
30 centimeters, okay. For this, we have to lay down our scale here and bring it hopefully you can see it, Ralf. To lay it down on the bottom and bring the measuring beam to the 30 centimeters here. It's the scale on this side to the red arrow that we have here. As a next step, when we have the scale also down or already down, we can go in the help file and can choose our height, our calibration board height. It's with 1090 millimeters. It's this gasket here, and we can bring the target holder with the target to 1090 millimeters exactly. Next step, lift up the scale. In other case, we get some stupid noise from the bottom and from the scale. So next step, we have to install our wheel clamps
Yes.
on the front axle, and also to install the mirror scale units on the wheel clamps.
Just make sure that you have them more or less at the beginning at the right angle. It will make things easier. And then just slip them in between the tire and the rim. It doesn't matter in which angle you put it, because what matters is the center of it. You don't have to make it or press too hard on it. It just has to hold.
So 2 words to the mirror scale unit. Like the name said, we have a mirror side, we have a scale side. We have a fine calibrated mirror here on this side, so please be careful with this tool. Please look always that you have a clean mirror here because of the reflections from the laser. So it should be every time very clean, and it's for you.
Thank you. Oops.
So we have help you.
I mean, that thing.
Was out too much? No problem. Okay. So we have a second measuring tape inside of the equipment case. So we can do it by our own, by only one person, to bring it to the correct distance to our front axle. The value for this was 1500 millimeters with tolerance of 25 millimeters. So what do you have, Daniel?
I have 169.
168. So we have to go a little bit closer to the car. And for this, we use our handling units.
Where are you?
164. Much more, please.
Much more. So it's very easy to handle for one person.
Yeah.
Where are you? What?
135.
135.
And your side?
150.
145.
Yeah.
Much more. But you can see it's very easy for only one person to do this procedure. 150, 145.
150.
151.
Okay, 151.
151, 151. We have 149 now, but it's inside of the tolerance. It's okay. It's totally okay. We're in the correct distance. We are within the inside of the tolerance, so everything is fine.
Yes.
So I can bring my measuring tape back.
I keep mine.
You keep yours. Exactly. Next step, we have to bring the tool in the middle of the car. That's for the laser can shine directly on the lasers at the rear axle for the next step. For this, we have here a cross-lined laser, and now we bring it easily to the middle of the car, to the logo of Volkswagen, for example.
For the camera to make it easier.
So I hope you can see it now. We are directly of the Volkswagen logo. That's all. We're now in the middle of the car. That's not necessary for the calibration, but it's necessary for the further steps that we have to do. The last two steps that we have to do before we can calibrate. And now we have to bring our wheel clamps to the rear axle, to the driving axle of the car, and turn the mirror side to the front. And then we can bring the tool to the parallelity of the rear axle.
A word with the working with lasers and mirrors, make sure that you have at the beginning the mirror pointed a little bit to the floor so that you don't get it in the eye or one of your colleagues.
Absolutely, very important point here to save the eyes.
Would you mind turning my laser on?
So now you can see the red dot on the bottom. How it moves to the front and to the measuring beam. Comes. Perfect. So we are here at almost 14.
Yeah.
I'm here at 30. So we have a difference of 16 at this moment. The first step that we now can do is to move via the handling unit the whole tool to the right position, or almost the right position. Means we are here now at 21,
and over there we are at 23.
23. That's enough. We can lose our handling unit, bring it down to the bottom. Means in this case, the system is now completely on its own wheels. The handling unit is free. We are now at
25, and
you sure?
over there it's
Take a second look.
25. And here we have
18. Ah, here we are 25. Okay.
yeah, and here we have
18.
18.
So, and the rest I will do with this little adjustment screw about we talked earlier. And I have to screw it clockwise or counterclockwise to bring it to the same value. Daniel, I'm here at 23.
20, 21.
22.
Now we're 21.5.
21.5. Perfect. 21.5, 21.5. So on both sides, in a few steps, in a few seconds, we're in the exact parallelity of the rear driving axle. And the last step that we have to do is to bring it in the exact middle of the driving axle. For this, we have to turn the mirror scale units to the scale side.
Again, here, be careful that you turn the mirrors downwards so that you don't get it in the eye.
So I'm here at 16.5.
I'm here at 17.5.
17.5, okay. And the only thing I have to do now is to take my foot on one of the wheels and move it very easily to 17 in this point.
Yes.
Because we have a difference of 1, so it's 17 now.
17, yeah.
Take another look. It's also 17, and it's
Perfect.
done. The tool is adjusted. It's in the exact distance to the car and to the camera. It's in the exact height. It's in the exact parallelity to the rear axle, and it's also in the exact middle of the rear axle. The adjustment is done, and now we can calibrate the system. So we shut off the lasers for saving energy and money. And now we go back in the software. I have to do a few more steps, but these steps the program will say us. So yeah, we want to perform the calibration. We have ACS cars installed, and now we have to measure from the body to the wheel houses the height. Your measuring tape is there, Daniel? Yes. And we have to begin this step at the left front wheel, please.
Left front wheel.
And we have to type in millimeters.
So we have here 690.
690, thank you. Next one is the right front wheel.
Right front wheel.
Yeah. Now you can see how it's measuring.
690.
690. Now we have the left rear wheel.
Left rear wheel.
Yeah, for a little sport at the morning.
Here we have 630.
630.
No, hold on. 620, sorry.
620. Okay, and the right rear wheel?
We insert it between the clamps here. And it's 690.
690, okay. In my opinion, we have to check the.
I double checked that one.
Yeah.
Maybe it was sitting somewhere on. I don't think so. Yes, it must have been hitting the rim. 690 as well.
690 as well. Okay, so we have 4 times 690. You see here directly we can check our values that we have written in, and are these values okay? No, they're not okay. So we go one step back and begin from the front. They were all the same. 690, 690, 690, and once more 690. We have the distance from the tool to our front axle with 1,500 millimeters. They are written once more in the control unit.
Yeah, we have to point out that as soon we hit the button to start the calibration,
yeah,
that nobody is around the car, because otherwise it will affects the calibration and will give you wrong numbers.
Yeah, very important point. So last step, we have to go on yes, the calibration starts, and within 8 up to 12 seconds, the system is searching for the calibration board. The calibration started, and you can see after 8, 10, or 12 seconds, the calibration is successfully done. All we have to do now is to read the values after the calibration. The function verification that we get now is a printout of all the information that we typed in manually while we are doing the calibration, while we're doing the adjustment. We get also the informations about the new calibration values that we have inside. We can type in here the win number. So please give me the win number.
Where are you? The 3 sets, okay.
Yeah.
Then it's AUZ LW910834.
34, and the mileage of the car. I knew it from the scan. It's about 3,696. 96. Thank you so much. We have also to implement the person which has done this. It's today the team Schleife Kronmüller. We prepared this. We have already selected the customer for today, and now we get the print out for you, for the customer, and also for the owner of the car, that everything on the car is done very well. We get information about their height, about manual done procedures at the car. We have one side with the mechanics. We have a place for the signature, and last but not least, one page where we have to do a test drive with this car, because also a static calibration has been finished with a test drive. So we have to check it on the road outside. That everything works very fine at the car, that the camera imagines all the signs that we have at the street, that the lane assist works very well, and for this is the last page here.
Please note that for some insurances in some countries, it's required that when you do a windscreen change and so on, that you have a camera calibration done, and this report serves you basically as the confirmation that everything has been done successfully according to manufacturer specifications.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, the calibration of the camera with all explanations are done now in 28 minutes. So I'm sure the time would be too much over when we start now the radar calibration, but a short explanation from this point up, or also from the beginning up. It's very easy to do the radar calibration because we have less steps to do.
The wheel clamps are already in the right position.
Now they're in the right position. What we have to use is our target for the radar calibration. It's named the TFR. In this case, the number 2. TFR stands for the target front radar. We have here also a holder for our laser distance measuring. We need this for the exact distance between the radar head and our reflector shield here. And all we have to do is to bring this reflector shield on the measuring beam, bring the tool to the correct distance, bring it in the correct parallelity and in the exact middle of the radar head. For this, we can also use this laser here inside of the measuring laser, and then we can also calibrate.
The tool has different positions depending on the vehicle. It will tell you on our software what position you have to put it on.
Different types, different cars.
Sometimes you even have to do position 1, position 3.
Normally we start with position 2. Exactly. We have here a self-adjusting system of the radar, and sometimes we have adjust screws at the radar head, and for this we have to go in different positions, and we have to to calibrate, to adjust the radar head by screwing and bring it to the right positions. All this informations, all this work is also written inside of the WOW software, is also written inside of the help files of the tool. And so I promised you, you can do the calibration of the camera as well of the radar without talking to each other and without explaining, within 10, 15, maximum of 20 minutes. Yeah, that's from our side. The car is completely calibrated. One suggest from our side, when you do a pre-scan of the car, it's also the best way to do a post-scan of the car before you give out the car to the customers. So we have a green list maybe for them to check it's everything okay, you did it correctly, no failures inside of the ECU. For this, please do also the post-scan. Okay, short look, a lot of questions. Okay, then I would say we answer them after the show. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to write them in. We are still inside of the session. We only mute the microphones and we shut off the camera. And feel free to ask the questions inside of the chat functionality. And from this point, Daniel, thank you so much for helping me here in this session for participating today. It was a pleasure for me. It worked very fine. You did it very fine. It was your first time in front of the camera and the first time do the whole calibration. So you can see you don't have to be an absolute pro to do this very easily. And thank you for this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear customers, dear participants, for joining us today. And if you're interested in further sessions, we have some more sessions in the next weeks. We have our colleagues from Up the World have diagnosis sessions. Next week, we have in 2 weeks sessions about our Coolio systems, about Coolio's equipment, and all about AC equipment, etc. And if you like the show, if you want to see more, please register for these shows and join these shows. And yeah, have a good time. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.